So your birthday?
Okay, shalom everybody. Sorry about being late. So on Friday we did part one of the explanation of the Kuzari for the Amidah. I actually realized that we stopped exactly in the middle at blessing number 10, and that's what I wrote in the title for the video. I wrote number 4 to number 10, so I think that that's where we should pick up and just. I think that today we can even record the questions because basically, there's a lot of information that we reviewed, and I think it'll be important. So, just to go back to the last line, that way we can connect. Then he prays for the reunion of the scattered in the paragraph ending, he who gathers together the scattered of his people of the house of Israel. So that's the end of the 10th blessing. With this is connected the reappearance of justice and restoration of the former condition of the people in the words, rule over us thou alone. So even when Hashem said in Parshat Mishpatim and Parshat Shoftim, both meaning judgment and justice, that we have to appoint judges to rule over the people of Israel. The ultimate judge, Elohim, is God, and if the judges don't judge according to Hashem's rules, then they're really not doing their job. Meaning they're called, even if they're Jewish people, they're called Beidin Shanochrim or some other word. It's not derogatory. It's just to say that if you're not ruling according to Hashem's laws, then you're not considered a Jewish court, and that's why we have a Beit Din, which it used to be also for monetary matters because they're as important as the commandments between us and Hashem. So he then prays against evil and the destruction of the thorns in the paragraph of the heretics. And we discussed that a little bit in our comments last week, which is basically that we don't want um, any harm to happen to people who are doing evil, but we also don't want them to cause us harm. So if it's between us and them, the royal them, we rather Hashem actually take care of it. And we mentioned the story about Rabbi Meir and Bruria, where she told him or reproached him that the last verse of Psalm 104, which we read yesterday and on Shabbat, for Rosh Chodesh, it doesn't say Yitamu Chotim, that sinners should die, but rather Yitamu Chataim, which means that sin should die out. And that's really what tries to lead us in this beautiful prayer. This is followed by the prayer for the preservation of the pure essence in the just, so the Al Tzadikim. He then prays for the return of Jerusalem, which again is to form the seat of the divine influence. And with this is connected the prayer concerning the Messiah, the son of David. So that's at Tzemach David Avdecha. So Binyan Yerushalayim and Tzemach David, the root or the shoot of David's house. This concludes all worldly wants. He now prays for the acceptance of his prayer as well as for the visible revelation of the Shekhinah, just as appeared to the prophets pious and those who were delivered from Egypt in the paragraph ending, O thou who hearest prayer. So Shomea Tefillah is actually two mainstream endings. One is Sephardi and one is Ashkenaz. So Ki ata shomea tefillat kol peh, which means that Hashem listens to the prayer of all, and that's based on Solomon's prayer that even if somebody non-Jewish comes to the temple and prays, Hashem should accept that prayer. And the other ending is Shomea tefillat Amcha Yisrael, that Hashem listens to the prayer of Israel, and like we always say, both are legitimate. Elu ve'elu divrei Elohim chayim, meaning that both the prayer specifically for the prayers of the people of Israel or the prayer for all people, Tfilat Kol Peh, is legitimate, and it's just based on sometimes who we are friendly with or not friendly with, and how much we want good to be bestowed on the general population as opposed to just our population. So I'll just give maybe a simple example. In England, when they're about to kick you out, which I think was the first expulsion since the expulsion from Jerusalem in 1196, and it's very hard to expect people to say, I want to pray for the welfare of all the people of England, because sorry, they're kicking us out. So it's not that I don't want something good to happen for them. I just don't want something good to happen to them if they're doing something bad to us. So it's based on the context, based on what is going on specifically in that generation. And so the rabbis did not say you must pray this way or the other way. It's just, I think, could be dependent on um, what people are feeling um, and experiencing. So then he prays, down here are the last few lines. Then he prays, "Let mine eyes behold," or so may our eyes specifically see it. It's already part of the Thanksgiving because we are not asking for me to enjoy the coming of the Mashiach and the rebuilding of the temple for my own good. It's because I want to worship Hashem much better when the temple is built, because there's so many other opportunities. I can give tithes, I can be blessed in the land of Israel, I can feel Hashem's divine presence always. And so again, it's in the context of the three last blessings, which are Thanksgiving, and concludes, he who restores the Shekhinah to Zion. He imagines the Shekhinah standing opposite to him and bows down with the words, "We give thanks, Modim Anachnu Lach," which contains the acknowledgement and gratitude for God's mercy and I think also grace. And the whole concludes with the paragraph, "He maketh peace," in order to take leave from the Shekhinah in peace. And besides that, we already said when we were learning about the last blessing that the idea of peace in Hebrew is not only the word peace, but also shalom or shlemut, which means wholesomeness. So everything can be related to peace, meaning if I have peace of mind and peace of body, and there's no enemies that are trying to overtake my country or my city, then everything, all the blessings are included in that. And we're basically saying, Hashem, Oseh Shalom B'Marav, you already are making peace in heaven. We ask that you also show us, even though we know you're already doing it, peace also here. So if a person is saved from a car accident or all kinds of other things, then they get to experience that firsthand. But if they don't even know, for example, that I'll just give maybe an extreme example from 80 years ago during the Holocaust or right after the Holocaust. I don't know that my neighbors are already planning to do another little pogrom like they did in Kiel. It's exactly a year after the Holocaust was finished. And then we continue to basically say, Hashem, we would like to see it firsthand as opposed to only hearing about it afterwards, because that will give us a lot more security and feeling like we are doing your will and that you do have a very good relationship with us. So I'll conclude with that, and maybe if we have one or two comments that we want to keep in recording, otherwise I'll stop the recording.